This is the last place where Alesha was seen.
This was where her salon was, her tanning salon.
Because the big fight that happened, the kids heard and witnessed, this is where he dropped her off.
There's a lot of people that she had contact with every day or every few days, or that haven't heard from her ever again.
She was bouncing in between Clovis and Farmington, between her husband and her boyfriend. Everybody knew about it.
No matter what, she was with some man, happy, whatever. She wouldn't have left her sister. She wouldn't have not let Carrie know she was okay.
My sister and I were very close. We didn't go. Sorry. We didn't go a day without talking.
Two different stories here of a husband who says that he was willing to let her go. He was over it. He was over all the affairs. And then you have the boyfriend who says he's waiting for her. Right. But he claims she never showed up.
I asked where they were going, and he said that they were going into town to get Alesha's car.
It's the story he told them, that she left in her car that night. He dropped her off at the salon and she left. She just got in her car with no shoes, no purse, no money, no anything, and she drove away into the night.
That's kind of where the story kind of gets a little muddy. Would you agree with me?
Agreed.
This is the location where Andre, Alesha's husband, cashed checks that were written out to her, but he cashed them after she had been missing.
He allegedly sent her the rest of the money to an address, an unknown address in Clovis, New Mexico, where her boyfriend lives.
Hi, can I speak to Andre?
This is it.
Joe, just first give me your first and last name and how you knew Alesha.
Joe Murray. And then I met her in Clovis.
And then you guys have something else pop up, and that's the burned car.
He said that he saw Alesha drive away. The car ends up being found by police because it had caught on fire.
I know she didn't make it from Runs Road to the main road in Aztec.
Hey everyone, I'm Crystal. I was a TV news reporter and anchor for more than 15 years, covering stories of remarkable people, tragedies that turned into heartbreak, and stories that are now part of history. But there are some stories that just stick with you. How many missing persons cases do you believe you have? Every year, tens of thousands of people are listed as missing.
Can you see how we've come so far?
So I called in the expertise of my longtime friend, retired detective, now private investigator Lewis.
No, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. There's no evidence behind that, you know.
Together, we're diving into cases that sit untouched for years. Like maybe they missed something. I feel they focused too much on him.
I think so.
And it may not have been him the whole time. And hitting the road. All right, you ready? Farmington, here we come. Along the way, we'll talk to those left behind.
She was wonderful. She was my older sister.
Something feels missing.
Just want her home.
Something's not right.
And to those who were part of the investigation.
I mean, the same dog found burnt remains.
All in hopes of uncovering new details. He has never been interviewed by police.
That's the person that I think did it.
To give families some closure as we go beyond the case.
Deep breath in again, again, again.
Okay, and I go all the way to K.
Yep.
Okay, and I go.
We are back, guys. Welcome back to Beyond the Case. We are diving into another heartbreaking case. This involves a missing mom of two, and we're heading to Farmington, New Mexico today.
That's right. This case has been active since 2008. We're going to bring you along a different timelines, and they're going to come together at the end for you.
Now, this case is so bizarre because there's so many different aspects of it, but they're all intertwined in one way or another. To give you the basics, though, Alesha Lobato Brookshier disappeared back in September of 2008. She has not been seen since. The last person who said they saw her was the man she was living with at that time. Now, legally, back in 2002, they had divorced. However, according to the family, Alesha and Andre would get back together from time to time.
So he was the last one to have seen her after they got involved in an argument in front of their son.
Now, for the simplicity of this episode, we're going to refer to Andre as the husband because we also have to refer to a boyfriend that Alesha had been seeing. 2 people reported her missing. First, it was her sister.
That's right.
This was after she hadn't spoken to her for quite some time, a few months, because Alesha's son called the aunt and told her there was some type of fight between his mom and his dad.
Time passes forward. Nothing was done until the cousin called to inquire law enforcement about the status of the missing case investigation.
What I think is very surprising about this case, and we normally don't start it off this way, but there is a person listed in the documents that we received from police. They name a suspect.
That's right. We're going to bring you along. We're going to focus on different aspects of this case, and this is a true head scratcher. This is a true whodunit investigation. At the end, we'll see what happens.
Let's pack on up, guys, because we're heading to Farmington this time. Let's go.
I've been trying to look for all of these things to hold on to, but oh, I'm finding better days with you. Hold on to me tight as we dive into the
And what's, I think, hard about this case, some family members fully believe somebody had something to do with this.
Right.
Others are kind of on the fence and think she just left.
Let's talk about our victim here. Mother, 2 children, right? She has a business. She was bouncing between Clovis and Farmington, between her husband and her boyfriend.
So that's where this case gets intertwined,
Right.
though, is because of Joe.
Right.
That's the boyfriend.
Yes.
Andre is the husband.
Yes.
The day, or the last day, I should say, that anyone saw her was the night that she got into an argument with her husband, Andre,
Right.
about Joe.
That's right.
And that's the only one that it seems a lot of people knew about.
Right.
But her husband
Right.
says there were more.
Yes.
2 different stories here of a husband who says that he was willing to let her go. He was over it. He was over all the affairs. And then you have the boyfriend who says he's waiting for her.
Right.
But he claims she never showed up.
Should we talk about theories? Theories was that she's gone.
I could see why some of them might think she just left, because she had done that before.
Right.
She was talking with a guy from Clovis and left to Clovis and lived with him
Yes.
for quite some time.
She did.
The difference is, though, is that even though she would leave, her son said he would always call him.
Theories that she's involved in the drug underworld.
Theories that Joe may have something to do with it.
Or has some knowledge to it. Theories that Andre is a suspect.
I guess the main question is, where's Alesha?
That's right.
And who knows? Somebody
knows.
has to know.
Somebody knows.
Heart rush, head flush. It's like jumping into the lake at night.
So here we are. This is the parking lot where Alesha was last seen. This was where her salon was, her tanning salon.
The big fight that happened, the kids heard and witnessed. This is where he dropped her off. she got in her car that she had left here and drove away.
But at
Never-
what time in the morning?
Early morning, before sunrise.
Which sounds so bizarre to be dropped off right here. All there is are shops. There's a few homes here right behind this barber shop, but other than that, there's no life in this area at that time of the morning.
No. That's why it does not make sense to me, Crystal, that they had this blow up at home and then followed by a calm drive here because I'm
Right.
done with you.
Right.
And then for him to just drop her off, all he said was something to the effect is that your children will always love you. And she got in her car, left the dog behind, and drove away. Gone. Never to be heard or seen. Oh, good morning. We're at it again.
We are at it again.
Day 2, Farmington, New Mexico.
And now we're on our way to Talia's home. The cousin of Alesha, she's the one that reported the second report. She made the second report for Alesha when she went missing.
The official report that law enforcement is investigating.
Right, that actually launched the investigation because for some reason, the first report from Alesha's sister really didn't garner anything.
Nothing.
It didn't garner a police response. It didn't garner an investigation. So, and it makes you wonder if Talia had not called, if anyone would even have known that Alesha was missing still.
Right. After 2 years, right? She called to inquire. So forth. Yeah, it's right here. Right there. 61. A little chilly this morning in Farmington, New Mexico.
Yes.
I'm
how are
Crystal.
you?
Nice to meet
Come
you.
on
Hi.
in, guys.
I'm
This
Louis.
is-
I'm going to have you give me your first name and your last name.
Talia Villa.
Tell me how you know Alesha.
We're cousins, first cousins. Been a long time. There's a lot of people that she had contact with every day or every few days or that haven't heard from her ever again. We got close when I got married, so which was in 2005, not long before she went missing. In 2008, I had my first baby in April, and she was a huge part of that. So when this all happened and she went missing in September, it was like she was just gone from my life, like when she had just been so involved.
Do you remember that when you had to call and you said to re-report it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you take
In 2010.
us? Yes. Can you take us to that conversation that you had with law enforcement?
Carrie reports her in 2009 missing in May when she came home for graduation. And she reported it to apparently Aztec because that's where they live, in Aztec. When in 2009, I kept calling that year. I remember at Christmas time when she didn't show to grandma's, so it really bothered me. So in January is when I started reaching out a little bit more, and I'm like they're telling me in Aztec they don't have a report. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a report? Like, this is the date she reported it. And then I finally got in contact with a friend that worked there, and she's like, the address is San Juan County. You have to report it to the sheriff's department. So then I called dispatch and I'm like, hey, like I need to report a missing person. And apparently I need to go through the sheriff's department. But even when I did report nothing really got. It was just, I made a report of someone that was missing. For the longest time, I was doing like daily calls, and it was just like, well, she's an adult and she can leave. And I'm like, but she wouldn't just leave her kids like this long. And we do know because saw his mom leave with his dad.
Okay.
We know that. We know Alesha left the house with no shoes on with him.
Is that kind of weird? Why do you think Alesha would get into a car without shoes?
If she was pissed and just wanted to get her shit, I could see her walking out and just being like, just take me. But if she didn't take her purse, she was coming back. Told the kids that she left with some guy, but then that guy was proven that he hadn't seen her. Just different things that it's just, she's on drugs. And I saw her or this person at Altel saw her, but then you go in and they didn't see her. No one saw her. Oh, she was walking the streets. No cameras caught her. What are you talking about?
If she was alive, do you think she would have gone this long without calling anyone from your family?
No. Not only would she have gone this long for lots of reasons. She loved her daughter and she loved her son, right? But say she did leave, she would never not call my grandma. She just wouldn't. She would for those special dates. And now it's been 14 Christmases that she hasn't. And 13 Mother's Days and Grandma's birthday that she hasn't. And her dad just died.
Some of the theories, if you will, as to what may have happened. Tell me what you think of them. Let's talk about the drug theory, that she's on drugs and she left.
And say that was, right? She was on drugs and she left. She's gonna run out of money. $2,500 doesn't get you shit. Get you a week, a month of fun. But she knows she has cash. Andre doesn't know that there is cash in this account at Citizens. He did not know that. She had money put away. If this is if she is on drugs, how do you get drugs with no money? And we know everybody that's a druggie, right? For some way, somewhere along the line, you're gonna reach out to somebody for $20. If she's on drugs, why didn't she take her money from her bank? Why didn't she cash her checks?
We are going to the Highway Grill. This is the place where Andre, according to police, and he was charged for it, cashed checks that were written out to Alesha.
From her boyfriend.
From her boyfriend.
Joe.
But he cashed them after she had been missing.
So the highway girl is out the $2,000. All right. She said that she approached Andre and asked for her money back, and that he said that he was going to pay half the money on 11/10/2008 and the remainder on 11/25 of 2008. And at the time of this report, she was asked if you've ever seen any money in her. She said, and she quotes, "I have never seen a dime of that money."
Do you think she's alive? No. Nope. I know she's gone. I do. And those are the facts that I just wanted the cops to just help us with. You know, just in a way, I wanted to be proved wrong. I wanted to be proved that she was with Joe, but she's not. I wanted to be proved that that Altow person did see her and she was on drugs, so that I could go get her and get her to rehab or whatever, but that didn't happen either. And her not reaching out to Carrie all this time would never happen, ever. Even if she wanted to abandon her children and go somewhere else and live a different life, she would have never not contacted Carrie, ever.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it big time.
We're gonna keep looking at this.
Okay.
We already talked to Joe.
Okay.
I've imagined this moment about a million times.
I still believe we definitely need to talk to law enforcement on this one.
I do think so too.
I think this is one of the cases that we definitely need to talk to law enforcement.
Well, doesn't it make you wonder, like, what are they missing? What do they feel they need? You get to the point where you're thinking, am I ever going to know? And every time we have a meeting and every time we go down this rabbit hole, nothing gets resolved, and I'm just thrust into all these emotions again. It has to be so draining on them, and I get it, but if everybody feels that way, then Alesha will never be found.
Carrie, first, thank you so much for joining us. First, can you tell me how you know Alesha?
She is my sister.
Take me back to the day, September 28th, 2008. What do you know so far about that day?
I got a phone call from my nephew saying that my sister Alesha and her ex-husband were fighting pretty bad. Bad enough that he actually called me. He never called me before when they fought. We spoke. I tried to keep him on the phone. I was worried where my niece was. That was my concern, because I knew she would be upset. She thankfully was still sleeping. He was on the phone with me for a while. And I asked him if they were hitting each other, and he said not yet. I asked what they were fighting about, and he said that they were fighting about a guy my sister was seeing or had seen. At some point, he said he had to go. He called me from her phone. He had to go because they were leaving. My sister and Andre. I asked where they were going, and he said that they were going into town to get Alesha's car. She kept it at the tanning salon to save gas money, I guess, and then she would ride into town with Andre. And that's the last anybody heard from her.
You mentioned, because we've heard this from other people as well, that they kind of were on and off again. Pretty rocky.
Always on and off. Oh, even after they divorced, they were on and off. At the time that this all happened, she was actually living with Andre. So all of her belongings were still there. Anybody that knows Alesha knows that when they split up, she will get her things. One way or another, she will get her things. She never came back for her things.
We're going to go over some of the theories with you, and I want you to tell me what you know, what you've heard, what you think may have happened with these theories, and if they're true or not. One theory, of course, being that Andre dropped her off at the salon, and then she left because he gave her money, over $2,000 in cash, so she could go live her life the way she wanted to.
Is that what he said? No. I don't believe that. I don't. She would have contacted me by now. We are the only two that are a constant in each other's lives. She wouldn't have left me. She would have left her kids. She's done a lot of crappy stuff. I'm not saying she's perfect. She wouldn't have left her kids. She wouldn't have left me. She would have done that.
Something feels missing, something's not right. I had it all written, but the ink never dried. Throw out the page, what do I say? If all I thought I wanted went running away.
Sorry.
One deep breath out, one deep breath in, again, again.
I guess the main question is, where's Alesha?
He said that he saw Alesha drive away from the tanning salon. The car ends up being found by police, the Farmington Police Department, because it had caught on fire. Somebody had put a different license plate on this car. When they ran the vehicle identification number, the VIN, it came back to Alesha Lobato.
Right.
Farmington Police Department had the car. They inventoried it. They recovered all this electronic evidence, and now they're identifying people found in pictures and all these text messages.
Yet her car ended up being burned with other people in there who told police they didn't know Alesha.
Right. Hold on, this is getting very interesting.
And then another story comes that maybe Alesha didn't have the vehicle all through 2008, 2009. Do you recall a couple that mentioned that Andre had asked them to hold that vehicle on their property? So the story just doesn't add up. When did her phone stop working?
Within 3 weeks.
It was turned
after.
off.
But he claims that it was because she was with Joe.
Obviously, Joe was in town.
Yes.
That same time frame when she disappeared.
That's right.
They had planned to be together, according to Joe.
Yes.
Anyway, he said, how do you think I knew you were here? So the next morning I went to the salon.
Okay, so if Joe had anything to do with this, why would he draw attention to himself and report the checks that he wrote to Alesha?
Joe, do you know anything about Alesha's disappearance? And do you know where she's at?
He was the last one with her, and there's just too many things that don't add up.
You have 7 theories right here. I feel 5 of those theories cannot be supported if she didn't have the car.
I ever think he intentionally meant to hurt her, but something happened. And then she's gone.
So, you know, we want to keep our options open, but, you know, he's probably in the top 3.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Andre being top 3. In this case file, and we've been through several of these missing persons cases, he is listed as a suspect.
I know I'm secure in my innocence.
I guess the main question is, where's Alesha? Somebody has to know.
Somebody knows.